Mark, episode 100, so I've decided that gags are going to return.
Why?
Because everyone likes the gags, only you.
Nobody likes the gags.
What is a wing walker? Sorry, let me start that again. What is a wing walker and a guy getting a blowjob off a 100-year-old both thinking?
What's a wing walker?
Someone who walks on the wings of a plane.
What, like that's an actual profession?
Yeah. So what is that person and someone who's getting a blowjob off someone who's 100 years old both thinking?
I don't like where this is going. I don't know. What are they both thinking?
For fuck's sake, don't look down.
Oh, I'm not celebrating this because that means you're going to do this again next week.
100%. It's back. Gags are back, everyone. Welcome to episode 100.
My Dixie wreck.
Guess we're ready for the show then. The writing is atrocious. Not a single joke come even close to remotely landing or being funny.
Get a little bit of gasoline. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn.
I don't know why, but that is extremely interesting to me. I'm into that kind of thing.
Get to the chopper. Sorry.
I feel like we're so spoiled by the internet these days.
Thankfully, this does wrap up quite quickly.
Step back. You're going to fuck up in a minute.
I'm gonna set your place on fire. Let's get higher.
How do you know about these people? And what the fuck is this pattern?
This effect made me want to die.
This couldn't make its mind up on what it wanted to be.
Get a little bit of gasoline. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn. Let's go. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn.
Hello and welcome to episode 100 of the You Run podcast horror movie review. Hey!
Hey!
Before we go any further, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who supported the show. Some of you have listened to all 99 episodes and some of you have only listened to one or two. But I want to say thank you to all of you. And I also want to share how important the show is to me. So today I've had the shittest day at work I think I've ever had. And doing this makes all of that not matter. It makes me happy to sit here and chat with Mark and have a beer and involve all of you. This show genuinely now has become, it's part of my life. It's something I look forward to every week. And a big part of that is thanks to Mark. And a big part of that is thanks to all of you who listen and message us and interact and all that stuff. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. Not me, obviously, of course. I mean, you as an audience, thank you. That would be very self-indulgent to thank myself.
That would be incredibly self-indulgent. I would like to thank me.
But while we're on the conversation, I would like to thank me a little bit.
Yeah. If this is your first time listening, don't worry. It's not like every other 100 episodes you've listened to. It's not a flashback episode where we go back and talk about our favourite bits of the show. Instead, me and Mark decided to do what we do best for episode 100, which is review a horror movie picked by you. You can get involved in the show in loads of ways. So we do a movie poll every Monday on our Instagram at You Run Podcast. You get to pick the movies we do. You can also send us a voice note DM on Instagram, and we'll play that on the air. You can also record one of those Tick'em Tock'em things and do that with no music, and we can play that on the air as well. So, yeah, there's loads of ways to get involved. Tick'em Tock'em. That's kind of,
I like it.
Yeah, I kind of feel that I'm too old now to be on TikTok, and I've given it kind of like an old man pet name. It's Tick'em Tock.
Tick'em Tock. Do you watch Dragon's Den much?
No.
Yeah, I have reasons to why I'm going way off topic here. They always talk about like when they come in, because basically Dragon's Den, I think they have it in America as well. I'm sure they have a Dragon's Den over there. Basically, when they go in with this business plan, one of the key elements that they keep harping on about, like for the past 2 years, is your social media presence. It's like, oh, you on TikTok? TikTok's like the biggest thing for selling. Like, how is like a social media platform like that the biggest thing that can be for a business? Apparently, like TikTok is the shit if you want to sell products.
Yeah, massively so. And at the moment, I'm trying to get our merchandise onto TikTok Shop. anyone who's a TikTok shop creator, please feel free to DM me and help me, because fuck me, it's complicated.
Anybody who knows how to use TikTok in general, please message me because it's fucking complicated.
Each and every week, we take you through a movie chosen by you. We do a few new releases and a few special episodes along the way. We give you the movie review, obviously, facts, games, and we also throw in some quizzes. Today's episode is special, as we're going to be taking one of our old, unbeaten, horrible, nasty, bastard fucking thing quiz and bringing it back. And I'm going to take it on, and that's Broken Spirit.
And I've written it, which is even better.
I'm genuinely. I just mentioned I had a really shit day today, and the show's going to cheer me up, and you're going to fuck it all up.
Yeah.
I'm
not even apologetic for it either. I'm looking forward to this more than anything.
Is it as hard as when the listeners quizzed you?
No, because that was just fucking stupid, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was the most stupid quiz I've ever played in my life. I'm proud of how well I did, but that was insane.
Yeah, and I've got now, obviously, you to catch. I want to at least tie with you and Dave. Or I want to go one better and beat Elise, but it's Broken Spirit, so I want to be the person to beat it.
Yeah, no, and in fairness, I haven't been cruel. The questions are hard, but I haven't taken the piss. Like, I want you to at least play the game. But don't think you're getting very far, though.
Excellent. Before we do break my spirit, I think it's probably better to do something nice and big up an account. So, Mark, over to you.
Recommended account of the week.
This week's recommended account is Never Sleep Again. Never Sleep Again, I believe, is a Kickstarter account which has the idea to be able to create a dark fantasy tabletop role-playing game based on Wes Craven's iconic Nightmare on Elm Street saga. This guy, whoever he is, has put a lot of work into creating. I don't think this has actually come to fruition yet. I think you can kickstart this and make it a possibility, but at the moment it's still sort of an idea. And although an idea is a very broad and expansive idea, he's basically creating, as it says, a tabletop game for the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Imagine, if you will, Dungeons and Dragons, but with the cast and characters of a Nightmare on Elm Street. So you'll have,
sold.
Yeah, it looks incredible as well. And what he's done on his profile is he's built it like an 8-bit game. So like the character, like say Jesse, is like an 8-bit character. So it looks like Jesse, but it looks like Jesse if he was playing him as a character on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Mate, honestly, and the colour scheme and everything that he's done, you can tell this guy's really passionate about this project. But you'll have stuff, for example, so say I'll stick with Jesse because he's my favourite character in the franchise anyway. So say
it's
Jesse.
Gonna be Jesse's girl.
So Jesse, say for example, has a hit points of 65, his brawn is 65, his agility is 55, his wit is 40, and so on and so on. And then you'll have a section which gives you his dream power. And each character has their own dream power. So his dream power is dream manipulation. Obviously, it all ties into specific characters within the franchise. So Kirsten from Dream Warriors, for example, her dream power is gymnastics and dream summoning. Her weakness, of course, is fear of abandonment, and Jesse's weakness is past trauma. And then you'll have a list of their attacks and so forth. Like, this guy has really done his legwork with the way that he wants his characters to be portrayed in the game. It's really, really cool. And again, as always with this account recommendation thing that I do each week, I undersell how great this account is. And if it is something that can become a fruition and we can actually get to play this one day, then please, please, please all get behind him and support his idea, because I think everybody who listens to this show especially would enjoy this in one way or another.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, I'll go and donate to the Kickstarter, not even because I want to play it, but I think that's a super cool idea that everyone wants to be behind.
Of course, and as horror fans, we should really try our best to try and support any form of the horror content. You know, and especially something like this as well, because it's unique and it's imaginative, and the guy really is passionate about the project. And I say a guy, it could very well be a woman. I don't know why
It could be a they, them.
It could be a they, them, or it could be a fish of them. We never know. However, Never Sleep Again _TTRPG is the name of the account if you want to search it. Really, really cool. He's got a Dream Warriors poster as his logo. Check him out, or her out, or them out, and show them some love. And as always, tell them the You Run podcast sent you.
Yes, please do. And people are doing that now. I don't know whether they're DMing people, but I am getting our recommended accounts message me and say thank you.
Oh, cool.
So we are getting people doing that, which I think's cool.
In that case, if people are actually being aware that I'm recommending them, maybe I should try harder to make them sound cooler than they actually are.
Yeah, if you could like put a bit of legwork in, that'd be great.
Yeah, I do put the legwork in. I'm just really not good at selling things.
I want you to do it in like, imagine how people would sell something like used car salesman. That's how you must do the next recommended account. Like
Boise from Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
Right.
And here we have this fabulous account that is on Instagram.
All right, challenge accepted.
Okay. This week we had 2 movie requests come in from Jay, from Lumberjay Reviews. Go follow him if you're not already, especially his review page. His review page is awesome. Jay asked for 2 movies. He asked for House on Haunted Hill and he asked for Sharknado 4. Now, we decided we were going to put them in a poll, and despite numerous corrupt votes from many accounts of MW Horror Reviews, MW VHS, Horror VHS, and many others, Sharknado didn't win. So no. We're not doing Sharknado.
I can't believe it didn't win.
I messaged you. I was like, how many times are you going to vote? So you voted like from your normal account, the VHS account, your work account, your personal account, your wife's account.
Yeah. I must have submitted about 5 or 6 votes, I think, to try and get Sharknado on the show.
And it still lost by like 82%. It got absolutely hammered.
Yeah. And I was mesmerised by it. I just couldn't believe that House on Haunted Hill took it down.
It did. So we are looking at House on Haunted Hill, the tale of a bored amusement park owning millionaire and his slutty wife hosting a party for a group of strangers, offering $1 million if they can spend the whole night in the house. Ghost traps, death, and a well-dressed Captain Barbosa with his wife, Jean Grey. Fill our screens as we get 90 CGI. I don't know what to say about the CGI.
We'll get there.
We will get there. There was no other movie that I think would be crazy enough for our 100th episode. It's House on Haunted Hill, and here's the trailer.
This Halloween, 6 strangers have been invited to a party. If they can stay up till dawn, they'll win $1 million each. The only catch is that they'll have to live through the night.
Let the games begin.
What's in there? Hey, I think I got something.
Stephen, are you doing this?
No.
So listeners score the movies first, and me and Marc give ours at the end of the episode with our roundup of the movie. As we're at episode 100, I decided to do a little bit of a change that's going to stick with us now moving forward. I've added some additional scores to the listener scores and our scores. So I've gone out to the masses of the world to see what everyone else thinks. So IMDb scores this a 5.6 out of 10. And to balance this out, I had to find someone who's stupid and scores out of 5, like Marc. So I found Amazon Prime, who scored this a 4.4 out of 5.
Yeah, Amazon's a more legitimate source than Rotten Tomatoes, I think. Oh no, it's an IMDb. Sorry.
Yeah, listeners scored this a 7 out of 10. Now, I thought I'd be clever and add a little bit of depth to the episode and done a poll of which was better, the original or the remake. It was absolutely no help whatsoever. It was a 50-50 split.
I haven't seen the original. I own the original as well, and I was hoping to get it in before this episode, but I just didn't have the time.
Yeah, I like both. I think I prefer this, but I was expecting it to be a landslide for this, and it was literally 50-50, and we had loads of votes as well. Really shocked me that it was a tie. This movie came out in 1999, so I think it's only fair that we give you a spoiler warning.
Spoiler alert.
We said we'd do that for anything over a decade old.
Oh, did we really?
Yeah, I think so. This is over 10 years old, therefore it deserves a spoiler warning. This episode, we give a full run through of the movie, and it is spoiler heavy. Don't call and complain. Just don't do it. Speaking of calls, we have had some calls, and before we get into the episode, we're going to do those. Now, the first call comes from Eric. Eric82 on Instagram, brilliant account, does loads of books and other stuff. You need to go and give him a follow. You put a review up of a movie that I wasn't keen on. What was the movie?
I don't know. We disagree a lot about movies.
No. The movie that you put, your most recent review that I will not be watching that.
Oh, I can't even pronounce it in the Queen's English. It's Banana-Manos.
Yeah.
Banana-Manos.
Yeah, and I commented on that going, fuck, never, ever, ever talking about that movie.
Yes.
And then literally 2 minutes later, we received this.
I officially request the Natamorphos as a review on the show. And hopefully others follow suit as well. Just because I'm an asshole.
Do you know what, though? He's requested that to be on the show as punishment. I really, really liked it. I give it a strong score. And yes, it is rough. It is dirty. It is gritty and very stomach-churning throughout the majority of the film. But you know what? I would love to sit here and talk about it with you.
Okay. Well, I don't want to talk about it. And thankfully, we received a second message. So we're going to poll two movies against each other. So I might get away with it. And the crazy thing is, you're going to be so torn now. So we received a message from Lumberjade Reviews who requested this episode, and we got this.
There's one film that I've seen on your polls that never gets through that I think should be reviewed, and it's The Lost Boys.
Yeah, game over for Nanamanonanos. Yeah, we need some Tim Capello action on this show. And it's been polled so many times. There's been near enough, at least, I would say 60% of the polls at some point feature Lost Boys.
If not more. And I think polling those two against each other, everyone knowing how much you want Lost Boys and everyone knowing how much I don't want Banana Mom. I think that will be quite a tight poll.
Yeah, but I'm going to say now, Phenomenon is probably never going to get polled. So this might be your only opportunity to get that on the show. Whereas the Lost Boys will probably come back around again at some point.
The Lost Boys almost gets polled every other week.
Even once we've done the Lost Boys, I reckon it will still get polled again at some point in the future.
We also got one more message, and this come through from Skelly.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say congrats on your 100th episode. You guys are the most amazing and most wonderful friends. I'm so proud of both of you with everything you've accomplished, and I cannot wait for the next 100 episodes. Love you both. Mwah.
Oh, how lovely. Thank you very much, Skelly. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And that's Skellington Fan on Instagram. You go and follow Skellington Fan as well. Awesome account. We also received loads and loads of messages congratulating us on reaching 100. Got a lovely video message from Lady Crisis, who's going to be on in a couple of weeks as well. Yes. So thank you, Mary, for that as well. That's awesome. We've had lots of calls. I like it. I like it when people call in.
Yeah, I feel like a radio host when we get calls in like that.
So, wouldn't it be cool if we could do them live?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. We should do it. How would we do a live? You can't do a live podcast, can you?
You can. I don't think we could do a live podcast because we would get cancelled, but we can do a live. It
is a possibility.
It's a possibility. I think it would be a very short possibility.
Yeah, maybe we should avoid that.
Yeah, we do the opening gag, then the bit that I cut out where I put music over it and no one hears, that would probably be about as far as we get. Thank you, everyone, for messaging. And if you want to message in and hear your voice on the air, it's really easy. Go to Instagram @YouRunPodcast, send us an audio DM or record a Tick'em Talk with absolutely no music behind it, and we can use it.
I love how we're just making words up on this episode. It's fantastic.
It's episode 100. I feel we've earned the time now. We can kind of just do what we like.
Brilliant.
We can create words. We can say things that are really close to the edge and not get cancelled. I think we're at that point. We're okay.
We're veterans at this point.
This is yeah. We are now the old fuckers in the corner watching all the new podcasts come up and rip us to bits. Let's get into this movie. Let's talk about it. The opening credits for this movie are great. Before we even get going, they're dark, they're creepy, they really get the overall tone.
I'm surprised you actually like this because it features quite a lot of stop motion as well throughout the beginning of it.
You cut me off. Don't get me wrong, they are shitter than shit, but I really like them.
Do you know what it kind of reminded me of? It was like that. Do you know you used to get those like creepy kids TV shows when you'd come home from school and they'd be on at like 4 o'clock before you had your tea?
Yeah.
And they'd be like horror based, but they'd be kid friendly. They'd like spiders and stuff and things like that. It was like kind of like an opening montage to one of those.
Yeah, it was like Don't Be Scared of the Dark or Don't Be Afraid of the Dark or whatever it was called. There was that one. And
it had that kind of like adolescent vibe to it.
Yeah, but I quite liked it. It reminded me very much of it had a very Beetlejuice-esque opening.
Yeah, you could have very much played the Beetlejuice theme tune over the top of it and it would have worked perfectly.
Yeah, that's a real coming soon.
I want credit for that.
Okay, that's fine. We open with a shot of the house on Haunted Hill and we see a man walking through the halls and clocking in. At this point, it's obviously not a house; it's an insane asylum. Sorry, mental health facility. Can't say insane. Get
a well-being centre.
A well-being centre. It's a well-being centre. It's definitely not. He puts on the shittest song ever on an old LP and then sharpens a pencil and starts writing notes. And then we cut to a patient being cut open while still alive and being filmed. This was rough.
Yeah. So I'm just going to open this up now by saying I have never seen House on Haunted Hill. I have convinced myself 1,000 times over that I have seen this film. And I think I've just confused it with the plethora of dog shit that came out in that era, such as The Haunting and other sort of ghostly phenomenon.
Man.
And other ghostly phenomenon films. Yeah, so I think The Haunting has ruined every haunting film for me. And I've just convinced myself ever since that I've seen it and I didn't like it. And then it was this opening scene. I was like, yeah, I've never seen this ever. This is not what I thought this film was.
It opens with a brutal massacre being filmed on a home camera. And Mark went, yeah, this isn't the one with Liam Neeson where he tricks him into a house.
Well, you say that, but this episode was almost completely entirely different up until a few days ago. Because I sat down to watch completely the wrong film.
You did. You sat down to watch a film we're doing in 2 weeks' time. Well done.
I did, yeah.
And you messaged me going, looking forward to this. I was like, you're well ahead. And you're like, no, I'm not. I was like, you are? What are we doing this week? And you're like, what are we doing this week?
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That just shows my level of commitment.
Now, the surgeon, why he's performing this operation on this live patient, is distracted. He's got a skylight above him and he sees hands banging on it. Everything goes to shit really, really quick. You've got patients burst into the guy's office with the pencil. One of them grabs a handful of his freshly sharpened pencils and stabs them through his neck.
Yeah. It's savage, isn't it, this?
Really savage.
And you see, they imply the intention of rape towards all the female nurses. They undress them, and there's at one point one of them gets like scalded with the water, and it's pretty graphic. I was really surprised by how graphic it was.
Yeah, and they go on a full rampage, and they get into the surgeon's room, and they've got them laid out on the table, and it's It's bad. One of the surgeons hits a mechanism which triggers a lockdown, and all the windows and doors do is lock down. They come down with big metal shutters, and then we fade to black. And I hate fade to black, but it works here, so I'm not going to dwell on it.
Yeah, I have similar issues.
When we fade back up, we're in camcorder mode, as one of the patients is filming as the other patients perform experiments and cutting into people, and it then cuts from that into an episode of like Unsolved Mysteries, and it's hosted by Dick Van Dyke.
Yes.
How the fuck did they get Dick Van Dyke to do this movie?
I have no idea. They must have told him this was something else, surely.
I reckon they told him he was actually doing Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, they must have done.
But yeah, I literally had a moment where I went, it's Dick Van Dyke. Why is he here?
It was a really jarring transition as well. I was like, what's happening? Where is this going?
Yeah. We now get a bit of backplot of what we just witnessed, and we're told that it happened in 1931. And due to the lockdown procedure, there was a fire within, and everybody died. And they also introduced Dr. Richard Benjamin Vannecutt. Vannecutt? No, Vannecutt.
Yeah, careful in how you say that one.
It's taken 100 episodes, and I finally dropped the C-bomb. Welcome to the You Run podcast. Oh, man. I'm terribly sorry if that offended anybody. Now, you all know I love Creep, the movie Creep. We reviewed it on the show. And especially Tubby Time. Now, I'm going to say that this Tubby Time is far superior to the Tubby Time contained in Creep.
Are you sure about that?
100%. We meet Evelyn, played by Famke Janssen, in my top 5 of most beautiful women of all time. A respectable number 2 within that list.
Definite definition of MILF.
I think she's old enough now to probably be GILF, but still super, super hot.
How old is she?
She's creeping towards 60, if not creeped over 60 now.
We don't see her in much these days. I wonder if she still looks awesome. I imagine she still looks awesome.
I will find a photo for release of her now.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. Apologies, that was very pervy of me. Anyway, moving on. She's watching the Unsolved Mysteries episode and makes a call with her newfound knowledge of the house on Haunted Hill. We jump to an amusement park, which in real life is Superhero Island in Universal Studios, but we'll get to some of that in facts. We meet Stephen Price, played by Captain Barbossa himself, Mr. Jeffrey Rush, and he's at the opening of his new roller coaster.
Yeah.
So he's got... He basically answers the phone and he's like, look, yeah, that all sounds great. I'm busy. And basically just like hangs up on his wife. I was like, oh, bit harsh, but okay. And he's got there with a reporter, and the reporter's been really snippy with him. She's like, is it true that this ride's only opening late because there's been an accident in the park and there's all these problems? He's like, no, I can assure you all the tests are done. And they get in an elevator or a lift. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. He's going up in the lift and the lift starts to judder. And he's like, I promise everything's 100% safe. And she's like, well, what about the accident? He's like, no, it's all safe. And then it stops abruptly. And then Price is like banging the buttons and reiterates nothing's wrong. And then he's like, the safety cable will stop us even if there was a problem. And then you hear like this twanging noise as the safety cable's uncoiling. And then it drops. As it drops, the reporter screams and he's going, this isn't supposed to be happening. The cameraman had me in stitches where he's jumping to try and like limit the impact when it hits the floor.
It's Spike from Angel, isn't it, at this point?
Yeah, 100%. Fun fact, if you are in a lift that falls, jumping does absolutely nothing. What you need to do is get into the corner of the elevator and make yourself as small as possible.
Is that actually true? I mean, either way, you're crushing like a tin can, so it doesn't really matter.
That apparently is the most likely way for you to survive. Alternatively, put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye because you're not making it out.
No.
At the point of impact, what we've got underneath is like grates that you can see through the floor. they turn to TV screens and it goes like static, and then it thanks them for surviving Terra Incognita.
Brilliant.
I want to go on that ride. It's awesome.
It's fantastic as well. I didn't see it coming either. I thought this was all legit. Again, this is the first time watching these. I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, really, really well set up. And the ride's not over because they now put the cameraman and the reporter on the actual roller coaster. So this lift has taken them nowhere. It hasn't even gone up. It's just stayed on the ground and done this whole show. And then they get out and get on the ride. And I love that.
Yeah.
So they do it at the London Tombs. When you go to the London Tombs, like a live horror walkthrough, you get in a lift there and it like bumbles down and bounces around. And you can see like through these frosted glass, you can see like beams going past as you're going down. And then you get out the other side. It doesn't move anywhere. It just bounces up and down in like this little room and then opens the doors the other side.
But it makes you feel like you've been on this entire journey.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you've gone like 300 stories down into the bowels of London, but you've gone nowhere. While they're on the ride, Price gets a call from Evelyn. And he basically is like, what did you want? It's really clear they have not got a good relationship at all.
No.
From this point, he's like, hi, Princess, what were you babbling about?
Yeah, very, very rude.
Very, very rude. I love the sequences and I love the back and forth between so you get the back and forth between the conversation he's having with his wife and you get the reporter and the cameraman on the roller coaster, and you get kind of snippets of information as it's going on. And it doesn't answer anything. It just shows how bad their relationship is. There's a bit where he turns around and goes, she's like on about what she wants to do for her party and have people to the house. And he's like, your perversity meter has hit a rating of 73 out of 10. But you don't find out what made it do that. We don't know what she said. I want to know what made her perversity meter that high.
I just assumed it was because of the location for the party.
Maybe either that or they were having another conversation in the cuts that we didn't get.
Possibly.
I need the director's cut.
You would want to know.
I would want to know. We get a malfunction on the ride and the tracks break and lift up, and we get a worker coming over to Price going, there's a problem. And he basically hangs up on his wife and goes, right, hold on, I'll sort this out. We see one of the trams come off and fly off the track. And as the reporters get to it, the track goes back into place and they go around the corner.
Brilliant.
And the problem is that one of the animatronics on the ride, on the cart that just come off, its flailing arm is not flailing.
No.
I didn't see that coming.
No, it's just such a clever little U-turn on the situation, because I thought, holy shit, this is like the setup for the plot of the film. Like, they're going to come off this roller coaster and that's going to be it. Like, his park's going to get shut down. He's going to be a mess. And this is going to be like the whole build-up plot to the film. But no, it was just another little decoy like the elevator. I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
And this is a point I was like, right, I'm on board now. This is cool.
Yeah. And in my head, I hope that all people who own amusement parks are like this. I hope they all have that sadistic nature where they are genuinely out to scare us.
Yeah. Because that's the whole point, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't go to a park that's full of roller coasters to just leave and go, that was okay.
No.
You want to leave going, that was fucking brilliant. That scared the shit out of me. That's what you want.
Yeah.
We get Evelyn, we cut back to him now on the phone, and Evelyn's like, I've sent you my guest list. So just send that out for me. He did get the guest list, and then he shredded it before writing his own. Fucking brilliant.
I don't get this. I don't understand why he did this.
I think it's just because him and his wife don't get on. I think it's just... how mad would your wife be if she sent you a guest list to send out and you shredded it and replaced it with all the people you know on Instagram?
My guest list would be the size of a Post-it note. We don't like people. I don't want people within my vicinity. I'm quite happy on my own at the moment.
The only problem is there's someone else who wants to change the guest list, and we see a mysterious force use the computer and retype the guest list of 5. So they also don't have many friends.
No.
that they are very limited. She had a guest list of 5. He changed it to his guest list of 5. And then an unseen force changed it to their guest list of 5. So all of these 3 people have 15 friends between them.
Yeah, this unforeseen force. I didn't pick up on the fact that they were changed. I thought they were the people that he actually invited.
No. So you see the computer delete and then retype.
I thought he was. Right, okay. I didn't pick up on that at all.
Yeah,
I thought that was him deleting her name of people and them. That makes sense. Like, I thought she'd sent him a digitized version, although he shredded it. I don't know. It was very confusing, this scene.
We now cut to cars arriving at the house, and probably one of the neatest character introductions. I really like how they introduce all the characters here.
Very slick.
We see invite details as we get like a shot of each person in the car. And we see that it's a party. There's going to be food and drink. There's $1 million if you spend the night there, and it's going to be mystery and maybe even murder. We don't get their names yet. We get them in a minute.
No.
At the gate, they're flagged down by a man who introduces himself as Watson Pritchett.
I love this guy, and I can never remember what I know him from.
I done the same. I was like, what's he in? And I'll be honest, I didn't look.
He's basically like the... who's the dude who's always in Adam Sandler films?
I think you can do it.
Yeah, he's like him, but from the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, he's like that. He always does weird little cameos in, like, I think you might catch him in, like, Wayne's World doing something stupid and things like that.
Oh, Wayne's World. Wayne's World.
Awesome
Party time. Excellent. He's great. He's decidedly nervous, and he plays nervous and jittery really, really well. Everyone's trying to ask him questions. He's like, look, I just need you to get in the house. We're going to go in the house. They'll answer all the questions. Look, we're going to go. And he gets to the point where he's like, just get in the fucking house. Why are we not moving? Let's just move. He's great. The lights to the house come on, and the 4 guests are led, and they're taken inside. Apart from Pritchett, who stands at the door. So you've got 4 guests inside. They're the core 4. Not as good as the Scream core 4, but hey, they're a core 4 of this movie.
I quite like them.
Yeah, I quite like them. Pritchett is stood at the door, and he's shouting for like one of the prices, like, Mr. Price, Mrs. Price, any price, I'll take a price. Come here. And it's very, very 90s. We get Ali Larter's character saying maybe it's a ghost who invited them, called the whole movie in the opening scene.
Literally straight away. And she's very, very hot in this. Like, this is a very young Ali Larter. I'm assuming this must be like her first major.
Yeah, one of her.
Role.
Yeah, this is early on in her career, and yeah, she's looking good.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of hers, though.
Yeah,
even from the Heroes days.
Oh, I forgot she was in Heroes.
Yeah, she was like one of the main. I think she was like one of the longest serving characters in Heroes, wasn't she? Because she was the mum to the young lad. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I need to watch that show again.
Yeah, I need to watch that again. Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Yeah, Peter Petrelli's awesome. I think he kind of got lost in like season 3, is it? Where it went a bit like Hero became like back in the past and like a samurai and stuff.
Yeah, it got a bit wild.
Very wild. It's just disappointing because it was so good, and they got right to the end, and it was like Claire revealed she had superpowers, didn't she, on live news TV, and then it got cancelled.
Yeah, it's like because I watched that all the way through, and the moment cancelled, like, I want to know. What happened? What happened next?
Didn't they get like a sequel series recently that got panned after like the first season?
If they did, I've not watched it.
I haven't watched it either. I don't know whether it has any involvement in the rest of it. But anyway, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now.
Nothing whatsoever. We get another girl who's videotaping everything on the most 90s camera, and one my parents owned when I was growing up. And she's saying that she wants to catch something spooky because she might get her own TV show, a funny TV show. And there's a character called Eddie, and he's like, so you're on TV? She's like, no, I used to be on TV, honey. And I'm looking for the right angle to either fuck or earn my way back in.
Brilliant. Honesty is key.
Honesty is key. Ali Larter's response is 100% the best reply in the movie. Looks like someone's trailer park is showing. Fucking outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. The final of the four is Dr. Blackburn, and he's kind of like the token skeptic of the group.
He's Sandy from the OC, is that right? It's called Sandy. Mm-hmm. Did you watch the OC?
No, I didn't, but I know who he is.
Oh, I shouldn't admit that I love the OC on show, but I do love the OC. The OC is basically like what Twilight is to Heather. We love it. We know we shouldn't love it, and we don't like people to know we love it, but the love is always going to be there.
An OC episode coming soon. Now, as they're all getting sort of stuck in and they're having this good conversation, Evelyn walks in and she's dressed in this beautiful red dress. She walks in, drops her bags, has a look around, is like, who the fuck are all of you?
Yeah, the way she commands a room as well is brilliant.
Yeah. Wow. No sooner does she say it, and there's a glass mural on the ceiling, and it shatters, showering them all in broken glass. And Eddie does what I think any red-blooded straight man should do. He dives and tackles Evelyn to the floor to make sure she's safe, and a bit of glass embeds right next to her head. Evelyn snaps at Eddie as like, get off me. And then her husband, Price, appears smoking a cigar, and he congratulates Eddie, going, that is the first time my wife has ever told anyone with a penis to get off of her.
It's very quick-witted, this film, isn't it?
It's incredibly quick-witted. And me and Lisa have incredible banter, but these two, the Prices, are on another level.
Oh, it's a clear disdain for one another. I wouldn't say it's banter.
No, their banter has reached a whole new level. We find out later they've had numerous murder attempts on each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could quote their lines all the way through it, but I'm not going to. I'll quote a couple, but not all of them. We get a little bit more explanation now as Price explains that the house kills people. And then he gets Pritchett to share his story of his dad and granddad dying in the house. The stories aren't overly that interested. And Pritchard's like, anyway, that's all great now. And I'm still alive, even though all my family has. I need to get paid now.
Yeah.
And he's very much
desperate to get paid.
Pay me now so I can leave. Price announces, let the games begin. Now, Price and Evelyn step away from the room to have a little row, and they leave the core four on their own to just have a look around. We cut to a man watching the grounds on CCTV, and he's looking. He's like in this little security office, and he's got everything on CCTV, and he's looking in one room and then seeing them and showing the grounds. Price and Evelyn now explain, like, Evelyn's like, you changed my guest list. Fair play. Well done. First point to you. And he's like, yes, but you changed it back. And she's like, no, I didn't. What are you on about? And this is where we find out that Evelyn has tried numerous times to kill her husband.
Yeah.
And he's aware of this and still won't divorce her.
No, because she'll take half. I think that's kind of it. When you become that rich, you kind of like fear divorce more than anything, I think.
And to be fair, I wouldn't want to divorce her.
No,
they're definitely not. Evelyn says basically she's going for a bath, and then after she's had a bath, she's getting a cab, and this is his shit show now, and she's not interested. Price comes back down, and he produces 5 checks, and they're made out to cash, and there's $1 million for anyone who spends the whole night and survives, adding that if anyone dies, their check gets split between the survivors. Now, regular listeners know for a fact that Marc is taking this deal.
Too right. And I'm killing off everybody else so I get the full $5 million.
What you won't believe is I am also taking this deal. I am 100% in this house.
Yeah. But you see, these guys are idiots. I would be sat in that lounge area and I would stay there until daybreak. I would get a chair, I'd get comfy, and I wouldn't move.
I'm with you. So they've got a fully stocked bar and a roaring fire and these really comfy armchairs. I would sit there, I would get myself a beer or a whiskey, and that would be me in for the night. And I'd sit there and drink till I fell asleep. I'd wake up in the morning and go, oh, great. How many people died? Oh, all of you. Brilliant.
Exactly.
Their choice. They make bad decisions in this movie.
Very, very bad decisions.
Pritchett is amazing here because he's got a check as well. And he's like, yeah, great. No, not interested. Just pay me. And he's like really angry. He's like, pay me now.
Yes, because he knows what's coming.
Price sits down to sign his check and he asks the others their name. So we've got some really stereotypical tropes here. You've got Donald W. Blackburn, MD, and he plays the skeptic. You've got Melissa Margaret Marr, who's the celebrity, and she plays the slut. You've got Eddie Baker, former pro baseball player. Funnily enough, he is the jock. And then you've got Jennifer Jensen, executive VP of Lathrop International Pictures. She is quite blatantly the Virgin.
Yes.
It really, really stamps home those tropes.
Yeah, I think so. I think it does, but it does it subtly enough where it's not like a spoof upon itself of the characters. Like if you're a horror fan and you pick up on these tropes regularly, you will notice it. But I don't think it's so in your face where you're like, oh, here we go, this again.
It rides the line. It's very much like 13 Ghosts. It rides that line of we're right on the edge. If we go too far one way, you're going to hate this. But if we stay on this line, it's good.
Yeah, and I think this and 13 Ghosts have quite a lot in common with that.
Yeah, it does. And again, in fact, there's a very good reason why these movies are very, very similar and very, very linked. At this point, Pritchett is literally jumping up and down, screaming, pay me my fucking money, I want to leave, pay me my fucking money, like repeatedly. Price signs the check, hands it to Pritchett, and we start hearing the lockdown noises we heard in the beginning of the movie. Pritchett runs to the door to try to get out and is too slow and doesn't manage the Indiana Jones roll underneath.
I thought he was going to. I'll be honest. I thought he was going to make it.
And then he's running to every window as it's closing to try and get out. Pritchett's line here, he just kind of slumps in a chair and goes, great, the house is alive and we're all going to die.
Yeah.
So
there's no masking it now. He's like, fuck, I'm here. This is the situation, guys.
Yeah. When he's trying to get out, he cuts his hand, smashing one of the windows, and the doctor patches him up. And Pritchett explains that they're locked down now. And they're locked down till the morning. And in the morning, people will come in and they'll find their mutilated bodies. It's like fucking hell, Pritchett.
He goes very dark very quickly.
Very, very, very quickly. We now get the return of the super sexy Evelyn, saying that Price has outdone himself. And also telling everyone that it's Stephen Price of Price Amusement Parks. And everyone kind of had a moment. There's an it's you.
Yeah, of course. I kind of missed that, actually.
Oh, did you?
How did I not notice that? I just assumed they all knew who we were.
No, they had no clue, but they do now. Eddie says there must be a main control panel, and Pritchett said it's in the basement. And he's like, so good luck with that. And after a bit of bullying, he agrees to go and take them down there. Just as Jennifer, Eddie, and Pritchett are about to leave, so you've got they're going to go down and try and get the shutters open. Evelyn says, is it not time to break out the party favours? Cut over to a coffin straight out of the Addams Family with smaller floating coffins inside, each of which containing a gun with the barrel welded shut.
I was like, what the hell is going on here?
I was very much like, what is this? This is like, I don't know, it's like a really bad murder mystery weekend.
Yeah, I was like, are we playing Clue now? I don't get why we're all getting guns and why these little mini coffins are floating inside this big coffin.
It looked cool.
It did look very cool.
Very, very cool.
But it didn't look realistic in any sort of way.
No, it really didn't. It does look more realistic than the ghost at the end of this movie.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Eddie takes a gun and him and Jennifer and Pritchett head down to the basement. The set design in the basement is outstanding.
I think the set design across the whole board of this film is outstanding. I think the way that each room is dressed and designed, I was like, wow, that's incredible. And I had to actually Google it. I was like, where was this filmed? And the majority of this is done on a soundstage.
Yeah.
This is not actually filmed in any particular location. So well done and bravo to the set design team who have painstakingly put all this together because it looks so real and so authentic.
Yeah, one of the thing I think that was the biggest wow for me is as they come down the stairs into the basement, you've got this huge glass cabinet that's got a full-size horse in it with a man riding it, and it's all been skinned so you can just see the muscles.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Really, really cool. Back in the CCTV control room, Price bursts in, and he's like shouting at the guy who's controlling the CCTV, going, "Next time you pull a stunt like that, let me know. You can't do that." And he's like, "Oh, the lockdown thing. No, that wasn't me. I didn't do that."
Again, I was so jarred by everything that was going on because I just couldn't work out the direction. Like, you've seen this film before, I'm assuming. This isn't the first time watching you. So, like, you must have known. But, like, for me now, I'm like, I just don't get where this is going. Is it him? Is he involved? Is it very much, at this point, now, who's done it?
Yeah, and I like the fact that there's lots of red herrings. Like, everything in here is a red herring, and all of the surprises are really good.
Brilliant.
All of the reveals. Price is convinced now that as it wasn't his guy, it must be Evelyn. Pops down to the basement and he jumps out on 3 that are looking for the switch. And we see some small tentacles coming out of a wall in a locked area. This was the first like tiny sign of a bit of bad CGI, and I kind of went,
Yeah, but it wasn't great, but it was forgivable because it was so brief.
Yeah, it was very, very brief. They find the electroshock room, which again looks great. And then deeper in the basement, they find a room that's got like, the only way I can describe it is the chamber from Casper the Friendly Ghost in the middle of this room.
Oh, shit, yeah.
It is. Pritchett explains this is a treatment room for schizophrenia, and they used to lock patients inside and bombard them with images and noises to scare them sane. Mental health care in the 30s was bad.
Yeah, what was the quote they used? It was either to make a sane man
insane or an insane
man sane.
Sane. Yeah.
It was something along the line. I can't remember the quote exactly, but when I listened to it, I was like, oh, that's really clever.
Yeah. Jennifer and Eddie get inside the chamber. I don't know why they've done that, because I wouldn't have done. When they come back out, Pritchett and Price have vanished. We cut to Price and Pritchett, who are in full arsehole mode because they literally just left them. There's no big device here. They just went, fuck you guys, and just wandered off down the hall. And they're still looking for the control panel. Back with Eddie and Jennifer, she's an electrician, turns out, or thinks she's an electrician.
You're an electrician. Would you have stuck your hand in there playing with those live wires?
Not in a million fucking years. It was.
Considering the size and scale of this house, the wires in there must have been carrying some serious voltage. I was like, you are crazy.
And not only that, just so everybody knows, you can't make all the power in a house work from fucking around in a light switch. That's not how electricity works.
For anybody who does take advice from this film, if your power goes out, don't just grab hold of cables and jiggle them in hope for the best.
It's just not the way forward. But for her, it works. She gets all the lights going instantly.
Mm-hmm.
No explanation either. It's not like, oh, I used to be an electrician, and my dad was. It's just like, oh, yeah, I know how to do this. Yeah, there you go. All the lights are on. With some of the lights working, they keep looking for the switch, and Eddie basically calls her out and goes, "You're not who you say you are. I don't believe it." She sticks to her cover story for about 3 seconds. She's like, no, I'm Jennifer Jansen. Actually, no, my name's Sarah. I used to be the assistant to Jennifer Jansen, and she's not very nice, so I stole her invite to this party. And she's
I completely missed that.
Did you watch this film?
It kind of struck me as the type of film that didn't require that much attention, I'll be honest. I watched this film, but I'll be honest with you, it is very forgettable.
It is.
Like I say that as someone who enjoyed this film, but you get to the end of it and you're like, okay. Yeah.
I'll agree with that. Her whole confession is an absolute waste of time because Eddie has now vanished. She's walking down.
This scene is fantastic.
Yeah. So you see a man pass a doorway and it's Eddie, and she spots him and goes in pursuit. We now see Eddie's got like a yellow glow to his eyes, and she follows him deeper and deeper into the basement as he's like refusing to talk to her. And they get to the autopsy room. We get a quick flash of a ghost doing something that happens in all 1990s movie, the shaky head, stuttery motion thing. I hate this effect. It genuinely scares me. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It's fucking awful.
Yeah.
The most.
And
I
think this was all handled particularly well. I think it's the most, out of the entire film, I'll be honest, I thought this scene in particular was the most anxiety inducing throughout it. Like it puts you on a certain level and holds you there for quite a long period of time. You're like, shit, this is brutal. This is brutal. What's going to happen? And then you're like, and I think the guy who plays, is it Elliot? You said
Eddie.
Terrible, isn't it? Eddie. He's very sinister looking in these scenes.
Very, very good. Stupidly, Sarah goes into the room where the shaky head ghost was. She sees this ghost and then she goes, "Oh, I'll go and have a look in there." Why? We see Eddie is now stood next to a vat of blood. No explanation why there's a vat of blood or how he got 10 foot up to the side of the ledge. But I suspended my disbelief and just run with it. She freaks out because he goes in. He goes in head first into this vat. And she's over there and she's got her hands in and she's covered in blood. She's trying to pull him out. And then Eddie walks in the room like, "What are you doing? Everything okay?" And she sort of looks up like, and just as she has that realization, something in the vat starts trying to pull her down. Between her and Eddie, they get her out and away. Brilliant scare. Yeah.
And again, it's just this whole entire sequence is fantastic. I can't knock it at all. It really does. It's a very, very, it's the most horror-centric element of this film, I think, we'd say this sort of whole 5-minute segment.
Yeah, it's excellent. If anyone listening is wondering the difference between me and Mark, this next scene depicts it absolutely perfectly better than any scene in any movie ever. So in the bar area, you've got the doctor and you've got Evelyn, and they're sat chilling by the fire with a strong drink. So I am the doctor and Evelyn. Eddie and Sarah arrive from the basement, terrified, angry, and confused. That is Mark, because Mark went nosing. Mark went for a look around and come back in an absolute state, and I'm sat there drinking a drink going, "You all right?" I literally watched it and I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, it's so spot on. If that was you and me, you'd be like, "Yeah, I'm going to go have a wander around and like see what's here." And I'll be like, "Yeah, well, I'll be here when you do." It's like when we went for Love of Horror. You're like, "I'm going to go walk around the stalls." I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm going to get a beer and I'll meet you in a minute."
Oh, excellent.
When they come back up, they are pissed. They're like, "We've fallen in a vat of blood and what's going on?" And it's all Price. And Price walks in and goes, "Wasn't me. I was with Pritchett looking for the control," which for some reason doesn't exist. There is no off switch for the locking mechanism.
No, they've been very unsuccessful in their journey.
Yeah, and I love Pritchett. Pritchett is the biggest downer in this movie, but he does it so well. He's like, "Yeah, well, at the moment, this is like just ghosts playing with us. One of you idiots is going to unleash the real darkness, and yeah, shit's going to get real. You're not saying anything yet." But he's like so blasé about it. He's like, "Yeah, one of you's going to let the darkness out. You're going to fuck it up. It's going to be Mark. Mark's doing it."
I was just literally waiting for you to say that.
At this point, they agree to stick together when Evelyn points out that Melissa is missing and someone should go and find her. We cut to Melissa and she's down in the halls in the basement having a look around. I love these shots. She's using the camera and she's looking around with the camera and she looks into into the autopsy room. And you can, through the camera lens or through the camera screen, you see the doctor or the surgeon and the nurses operating on the live patient. And then when she lowers it, there's nothing there. And then when she lifts it up back again, they all turn and look straight down the barrel of the camera.
Creepy as fuck, isn't it, this thing?
Really creepy. And at this point, a monster appears and we get a flash of weird images on the screen. And then her hair blows in the wind and we get this big flash of lightning. And the only thing that was missing is the Ghostbusters theme kicking in. That's all that went through my head.
Scene in the library.
Exactly that. I was waiting for it to go So it's so that scene, the scream, the lighting. I think that was done on purpose.
You think that was like homage, sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, but disappointingly, she dies off screen.
Yeah, and to be fair, most of the deaths are off screen.
All of them are. Yeah, they all are.
Yeah, they all are. But it's not a tame movie, but it doesn't show you much, if that makes sense.
No. But I feel like it would have maybe been stronger had it done.
Yeah, I think it would have. Had they committed that one extra step.
Yeah. And there was nothing wrong with it. It's only when you're looking at a critical standpoint and you pick up on these things, you're like, that was a missed opportunity. That was a little bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, but it still works.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Up in the bar, no one went to look for Melissa. Not a soul. And then you hear her scream rattle through the halls, and Evelyn goes, I guess she found what she was looking for. And Pritchard's like, yeah, she's dead. Which is a shame, because she was really cute, and I would like to get laid tonight before I die. Instantly switching to how you doing to Evelyn. And she just gives him like death stare. With a woman like that, Pritchard, you need to be more confident. It's all about how you deliver the line.
Go on then. Show us what your best deliverance is.
How you doing? It's not a one-sided street. How you going with it?
How you doing?
Yeah, we're both getting laid. Sorry, Pritchard.
Neither of us are getting laid.
Do you not think?
No, we're both very lucky to be married.
This is very true. The other chat-up line that may work, I don't know if it does. Single podcasters, let me. Does this work? Do you know I have a podcast? I'm a pretty big deal.
Oh, if I ever use that line, I give you full permission to punch me in the eye.
It would be so good just to see you use that line. Not necessarily to pull, but just anything. Like if you're having a problem with your mobile phone and you're in the shop, you go, do you not know I have a podcast? I'm a pretty big deal. Just go full Anchorman.
Oh, that would be excellent.
The Doctor and Price are now in the basement and they're looking for Melissa. Fucking little bit late. You've just heard her scream, but we'll probably go look for her now. Eddie and Sarah are already down there and they've discovered a big puddle of blood with our camera sat on top of it. They follow the trail of blood and it goes to where the operating table is, then up the wall and disappears into the ceiling. They all head back to the bar and they watch Melissa's footage. And we don't see anything. We see her drop the camera, we see her hand shaking, and then she's dragged away. Evelyn asks Price what actually happened. She's going, so did she do it all for you? Was it all staged, or did you actually kill her? I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, they've got that. They have a dark. I want to see a prequel that just focuses on their relationship for the 10 years prior.
It's like an extreme version of Pranked, isn't it? The way that they behave with each other.
Yeah. Evelyn then asks who's next. And he basically smiles and she's like, well, I know it's me. And she pulls a gun on him.
Yeah, and again, I was confused by this because his statement is, I would never give you a loaded gun. She fires it and it genuinely fires. And I'm like, so did you or did you not? Or did she bring her own bullets to load it? I didn't get it.
I'm kind of going down the theory of this is the ghost has messed with it.
Right, okay.
That's what my theory is, because he's genuinely like, shit, that gun wasn't loaded and it just fired a bullet at me and I nearly died.
But she was so blasé about it as if she knew that's what it was going to do.
Was she blasé because she knew that was what was going to do, or was she blasé because she thought it was empty and it was fine?
Well, no, for a reason. She thought it was empty and then it did fire a bullet. More reason to be panicked and be like, shit, good job I didn't point that at his fucking eye.
It's at this point where she goes, anyway, I'm going to bed now. And if anyone so much as pokes their head by the keyhole, I'm emptying the rest of this clip into your face.
Excellent.
Wow. This is where I die in this horror movie, by the way.
Why are you perving at that keyhole?
100%. Price basically says that he wouldn't give her a locked gun, a loaded gun, and if he was going to kill her, he definitely wouldn't do it in a house locked in with 4 witnesses to watch him do it.
No.
But she's kind of like, I don't care. Good night. Eddie and Sarah decide to go and look for another way out, and the good doctor said he's going to look for Melissa. Pritchard said he's not going anywhere, and he's going to find something really strong to drink.
Solid choice.
I like Pritchard, yeah. Price runs to CCTV HQ, and he's now like screaming that Evelyn's pulled this stunt, and how was the gun loaded? And he spins the guy around in the chair, and he has no face.
Such cool practical effects.
It was definitely practical because I wasn't sure. But
no, this scene was, yeah. Because I watched it again, I was like, that looks so cool.
Yeah, and it's literally almost like something scoops like all of his face out, and there's literally just a big hole.
Yeah, literally, that's a perfect definition of it. It's like it's like an ice cream scoop, but a skull with a bit of skin on it.
Yeah, it's really, really good. As Price looks up, he sees one of the ghosts doing the shaky head shit again, and it's on his way to Evelyn's room. We now get a movie montage, which I did not expect, like movie montage with backing music and everything. So we get Eddie and Sarah trying to open a door with a pitchfork, the doctor roaming the basement, Pritchard searching for booze, and Price running to find the surgeon. The lights start flashing, and we all convene. They all kind of end up in the basement together. And Pritchard goes, "It's the electroshock room," and they all go there. Fucking idiots! Why?
Strength in numbers, though, isn't it? I would feel more confident in a group. I would, willing, because I'm a curious by nature anyway, so I would want to go to the room. But if if you guys come with me, then I could push one of you in front and you could go first.
Yeah, see, I would be very much, I'm going to stay in the bar. Let me know how you all get on.
Well, you've missed the events of the entire film, to be honest.
I'm asleep now.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I am snoozing while everyone's dying. They find Evelyn. So it's Evelyn that's on the bed and she's being shocked. And they try to switch it off, and eventually they do, and the doctor pronounces her dead. They didn't try CPR. He's not a very good doctor. Price kisses her on the forehead in quite a bit of emotion. You kind of go, actually, maybe he did love his wife. And he demands that someone tells him who the surgeon is walking around the house, and one of you killed my wife because it wasn't me. He pulls a gun, and so does Sarah. Price is about to fire, and Eddie tackles him to the ground and beats him down repeatedly. And they decide to lock Price in the Casper chamber.
I like this. I like where this goes.
I thought it was really clever. A really good decision. He's gone a bit nuts. He's got a gun. Let's lock him away.
Yeah, and it's a very confined unit as well. There's no way you can escape from this. It's what happens next that blows me away.
Yeah, the doctor said he's going to stay and keep an eye on him, and the others leave. When they go, the doctor switches on the machine in the most oops, oh dear, oh, oops, I pushed another button, oh, oops, I switched another button.
And I was just like, I didn't get it as well, because I was like, so are you the guy behind it all?
That's kind of where I was. Is
Price kind of behind it all? I don't understand. If you're behind it all, then what the hell's happening? And then I'll come back to that in a minute. But this scene in particular, where the room starts spinning, this is awesome. So gothic. Some of the imagery we get to see as well is so clever.
Yeah, and it's almost, I don't know the best way to describe it. It's like there's a thing you used to have in the 30s. You used to spin it and shine a light through it, and it would create animation. It's that in a big chamber.
Yeah.
Really, really, really cool.
I can't remember the name of those little toys that you used to get as a kid.
No,
I know what you mean. But
yeah.
I think they use them in one of the Conjuring films, don't they? Or the Insidious films. One of those uses it.
Yes, James, one of those James 1 things has used it, I think.
Yeah.
Now, while this is going on, Eddie and Sarah, who have kind of got lost in the basement, and they find the surgeon's old office. And we now sort of cut between them and Price in the machine. And we also get a 1931 flashback. We see Price on a stretcher and other patients being tortured. and we see a ghostly nurse saying, "You've been sick, Mr. Price." And then a surgeon ghosts appear with more of the shaky head bullshit that I genuinely hate. It really creeps me out. I don't like it at all.
No.
We see them wrap his face in plastic and throw him into what seems to be a huge like water tank and close the lid. He removes the plastic and finds he's in there with other corpses. He swims around for a while, and it's at this point we see him stood in the machine, and we know it's all a hallucination. It's so unique. I've never seen it used in another film ever.
No, not in the way that it's done here as well. It's also it's very like saturated. There's no color to anything. It's very grey. It's not black and white, but it's just absorbent of color and looks very eerie.
Yeah, and there's bits in there. So like one of the girls in the water opens her mouth and blood comes out, and the blood is like the reddest of red blood. In the contrast to the grey.
Yeah, it's so clever. Really, really clever. And looks phenomenal. And I have to admit, like, this is one of the most enjoyable segments of this film for me. Like, I watched it, I was like, that is so cool. Very artsy in a way.
It's very artsy. And if you put it in the tone with the rest of the film, on paper, it shouldn't work.
No, and it feels, to be honest, I mean, although it does work, I get what you're saying. In the moment, though, it does, to me, I was like, this feels like it doesn't belong with the rest of the tone of this film.
We jump back to Eddie and Sarah, who are now searching the offices, and they find a picture of the 1931 staff. And Sarah realizes that all of the guests are related to staff who died in the fire. Pritchett now pops up, saying that it wasn't Price who made the guest list. The house made the guest list because she's a spiteful, vengeful whore. A little bit like some of my ex-wives.
I hope for your sake they don't listen.
I'm sure they don't. And if they do, I meant what I said. They tell him he's insane, and they realise the doctor's name is not on the picture. We cut off to the doctor who stood over Evelyn's body, and he kisses her on the lips, and he gropes her breasts, and they're in her thigh, and then he rolls his hand up towards her. I'm not going to use the word I used earlier, but towards that area. He prepares a syringe, and then she wakes up with a big smile on her face and kisses him. And she asks if her husband's dead, and he's like, "Oh, it won't be long now." And they're joking about which one of the guests is going to shoot Price and how they'll behave when the police arrive. I did not see this coming at all.
But it makes no fucking sense.
Does it have to?
But if the ghosts made the guest list, who the fuck is this dude? And how's he on the guest list? It's not just coincidence. And if he is, why is he with Evelyn? It doesn't fit.
No, it kind of doesn't. Why he's with Evelyn is a stupid question.
It's like they're conspirating together to get out Price and take him down, and that's like the overall plan. So it would make sense for them to then write the guest list and just coincidentally the house be haunted.
Yeah.
But the plot of the film is that the ghosts have changed the guest list to suit them.
Yeah, but they kept him on. I don't know.
But why? How do they know who he is and what there is and what their overall plans and intentions are?
Oh, maybe the ghost plans involved him.
No, because we find out that the ghosts have invited these guests based on being descendants from staff who worked at the asylum. So this is a continuity error right there in your face. It makes no sense whatsoever.
This is very true. I didn't see it coming, though.
No, nobody did, because it doesn't belong in this film.
She asked him if he found Melissa, and he said no. And then she goes all like crazy bunny boiler, saying that they need to push the guests harder and they need to make one of them break. And the only way to do that is with another body with her husband's name on it. With that, she stabs him in the stomach repeatedly, and we watch him fall and die. Again, didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't as well. And that was quite cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Back with Sarah, Eddie, and Pritchett, they're sat by the fire. Eddie has found a pipe, and Pritchett is convinced the doctor is dead. We see Evelyn release Price, and the three go to look for the doctor. They find blood all over the floor, looking for him, saying Price is behind it, and they're going to check if he's still locked up. They open the chamber. Price isn't there. Instead, a beheaded doctor. I love
this. Was cool though because it was the doctor's face in the glass.
Yeah.
So they open the doors to try and save him, and then it's just his head pressed up on the ledge in front of the glass. It's really cool. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
And it kind of falls onto the floor and like tumbles out by their feet. It's great.
Yeah, really good.
Evelyn got her wish, and they're now all blaming Price, and they're all looking for him. Sarah hears Melissa calling for help and goes to investigate on her own. I don't get it. She just wanders off. And instead of finding Melissa, she finds a very battered, confused, and dazed Mr. Price. He's not in a good way.
No, well, you wouldn't be either after experiencing what he's just experienced.
This is true. I wonder if this is how our listeners feel after every episode on a Monday afternoon. He says he woke up on the floor and he doesn't know anything. But Sarah isn't having any of it and empties her gun into him. Eddie and Pritchard arrive, and Eddie's like, okay, now you're going to lower the gun and you're going to give that to me. Okay, you're going to come over here and you're going to sit down before you shoot anyone else.
I was really surprised she shot him, I'll be honest.
I was stunned when she shot him. They head upstairs and Evelyn emerges from the shadows, telling Price's corpse that all it would have taken was a divorce and it didn't have to go this way. But it's sad because she always loved his money.
This as well, again, plot twist.
Yeah, Price is not dead. Price grabs her by the throat and jumps up, explaining he knew everything about the doctor, he knew everything about the plot, and he knew everything. And now, because everyone thinks she's dead, he can kill her because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. In their tussle, he throws her against a wall, which gives way, and we hear lots of screams. And the evil that Pritchard spoke about earlier, that they've released it. Here we go. We see a shadow move across the room. Terrible CGI. Darkness drags Evelyn back and consumes her into it.
Before we get into it, there's a scene where she's on the floor and it's almost like the gravel's levitating. The same way you get like shards of metal when you put it against a magnet and it repels it.
Yeah.
And that's like moving across a gravel floor. And I'm like, oh, that looks cool. This is going to be awesome. The final showdown using really cool, clever effects.
Yeah.
And then it happens.
We got a big black CGI bat thing.
And again, I'm going to say, I don't want to defend this and I'm not trying to. The concept and idea behind it is really, really cool because the bat ghost smog thing is made up of loads of miniature CGI ghosts. That's what sort of forms it. Like it's got the faces and bodies of all the victims who have died within the house.
Wait till we get to facts. They're not the victims of the house.
Right, okay. Well, that was the intention that I thought it was supposed to be conveying. And it looked really cool. And I was like, oh, that's clever in theory. In execution, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, that's really, really good had you not got your 4-year-old niece to create it on PowerPoint.
Yeah, and I mean, to give this film credit, it is now, what, 24, 25 years old?
Yeah. But, even when this come out, the CGI was ropey then. And now it's just dreadful. Yeah. Price stumbles backwards out of the room and he knocks open a cabinet. And this contains the surgically dismembered body of Melissa. I laughed so fucking much because you've got these excellent, like, handcrafted practical props of a body with like a breast cut off and there's like a leg and there's an arm and it all looks great. And then you've blatantly got the actress's head poked through a hole, resting like on the shelf. And they've not even made any attempt to like make her look dead. She's still in full makeup and looks like she's just walked off a beach in Miami. I laughed so much. Yeah,
it's like she's filmed the last scene. She's like, oh, just before you go, can you just do me a favour and just poke your head through this curtain?
Yeah, and then they pan the camera past, go, great, thanks, brilliant, see you later.
Yeah, cheers, pick your check up on the way up.
It was, I just literally, I paused it because I was laughing. I didn't want to miss anything. It really made me cackle. The shit CGI darkness now takes the form of Evelyn before chasing Price through the basement. Upstairs, the others are trying to pry open a window. Price gets up and starts banging on a door for them to let him in. And Pritchett goes to open it. And as he opens it, Pritchett gets swallowed by the darkness. And Price gets into the main part of the house and closes the door behind him. I loved the fact the darkness broke down the door.
I know, but the thing though is it's shit CGI, like bellies it like a bubble before breaking through.
Yeah, but I liked the fact that they didn't go, oh, well, we've bought some time now. The ghost needs to find another way through. It just burst straight through.
I thought ghosts could travel through walls anyway.
I thought they could as well. Not in this movie. It breaks them down.
Right. Okay.
On the advice of Price, they head up to the attic. Honestly, the CGI is the worst, and it's so overused. Up in the attic, Price tries to get the lockdown mechanism going again. And in losing his temper and throwing a pipe, he actually manages to. He yells to the others, telling them he's found a way out. And they get up there and they run. And the darkness turns into someone who Sarah knows. No context to this whatsoever. But I thought you were coming to my show. And Sarah ignored this like I did as a viewer and kind of went, I don't know who you are. And they just kept going.
I thought this was the other blonde girl.
And was it the other blonde girl?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, I completely missed that. I thought it was like meant to be our mum or something.
That's why I was saying like the ghosts of people who have died within the house. And I think this was that blonde girl, even though the CGI was so bad you couldn't recognize her. But she was like saying like, oh, I thought you were coming to watch my first show. And I think this was supposed to be the woman who died first.
Okay, that was lost on me, completely lost.
I might be well off, but that's the kind of take I got from it.
Price shoves Sarah out of the way. He pushes her out of the way of the darkness for some unknown reason because he's been an asshole throughout and now all of a sudden becomes a hero. She was just stood staring at it instead of getting out the open window, like 2 foot behind her. The darkness consumes him and it leaves like a statue corpse. That effect is cool. I like that effect.
Yeah. And the thing that picked me about this whole scene, though, is that his entire body, his skin, his skeletons, his organs, everything he's wearing, his clothes, all disintegrate immediately, apart from the envelope full of checks.
Yeah.
Very convenient.
Yeah, I'd be very disappointed if I didn't get a check at the end of this.
And I just saw the check floating away from the ashes of his body. I was like, oh.
Film's got a film. That is going to be the line that will haunt you through every bad movie. Eddie grabs Sarah and pushes her out the window onto a ledge, and the darkness cuts the cable, locking the windows and locking the shut, basically putting lockdown in again, leaving Eddie alone with the darkness. We get the darkness takes the form of sort of several characters, and then Pritchett's ghosts open the window. Eddie dives out, and the darkness goes back into the house.
Yeah, but Eddie turns around in this moment and he says, it's got nothing to do with me. I was adopted. So the entire plot of this film is based around the fact that all these characters at this house are descendants of some of the doctors that worked within this vicinity.
Yeah.
Now, the girl who survived at the end, what's her name? Ali Lata.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Sarah.
not who she said she is. She nicked someone's invite.
Yeah.
Eddie is adopted, so he's not involved.
Yeah.
I don't believe Price and his wife are involved because they're just there because of the attraction and she's just married to him.
Yeah.
So that would leave the fact that the doctor, who we know is an accomplice to Evelyn, so therefore I don't believe for a second that he is who is intended to be on the invite, which leaves the blonde girl at the beginning who got killed to be the only actual viable source of descendants from anybody who worked in this hospital.
So what you're saying is that the ghost didn't use Friends Reunited correctly.
I'm just saying that none of this makes any logical sense when you think about it.
I mean, they're ghosts. Maybe they just took a punt and went through the phone book and went, those names match, we'll invite them.
The fact that they can do that and they got it so incredibly fucking wrong blows my mind.
We end with Sarah and Eddie sat on a ledge. And underneath the closed window, they find an envelope, and it contains all the checks. And they laugh, and then they realise it's going to be a challenge to get down because they're on the top of the house, on the top of a cliff face. End credits.
Dum dum dum.
Dum dum dum. I like that. Should we do that every week?
Do you know when I was Googling the set locations and stuff, thinking that this was actually filmed on set, the most CGI looking set out of everything, the exterior shots of the building, is actually real. That's an actual museum in California.
Oh, is it really?
And that was filmed. It looks like something from a Batman animated TV series when it's filmed exterior, but they are actual genuine locations, and the only one that's not filmed on a soundstage.
That's awesome. I like that. That's great.
Yeah, but how does that look so fake in comparison to everything else?
Hot takes.
So, hot takes this week, we've got Bells of Horror. The nostalgia is here for me, even with the bad CGI. I love it for the one jump scare. It got me good when I was younger. I need to rewatch them. And they're a horror podcast dedicated to women in horror. We've got Golden Chainsaw. I went to a Bodyworks exhibit to see the corpse art used in the movie. It's one of the weirdest exhibitions I've ever been to. That'd be cool. Yeah. And there are horror reviews and news page. Texas Twilight, otherwise known as Wednesday Wine and Horror. Funcast.
Dude, oh, you're skating on thin ice with that one, my friend.
She needs to change her account name now. Funcast, ultimate 90s vibe and better than the original. Michael in Woodsboro, apart from the dodgy CGI, this movie is one of a kind. It's creepy and it's so much fun. And they're a horror account. And then we've got Attack of the Killer Objects. I haven't watched this in at least a decade. I remember thinking it was pretty fun when it came out. Gotta love Jeffrey Rush, and they're a horror podcaster.
To that.
After all of those positive hot takes, do you want to break my spirit?
I would love nothing more.
I told you, I want to play a game.
They will say that I have shed innocent blood.
The power of Christ compels you!
What have you done to its eyes?
Well, it's elevated horror.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
You're going to like it.
I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
How was that the slaughterhouse?
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Oh, I know this one, you fuck.
Right, it's time to play Broken Spirit. The rules are simple. There is 15 questions, all varying from multiple choice to, well, to be honest with you, no. There's not a lot of multiple choice. You're pretty much getting the kill zone straight away.
There's a fucking shot.
15 questions. You get one wrong and you are out. There are no lifelines. There are no saves means. This is as brutal as this quiz gets. Are you ready?
I am ready. And as research, I've gone through back a big chunk through your back catalogue of reviews and watched some really shit movies. So
brilliant. Well, you should be fine. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Question number 1. What is the greatest shark movie ever? And remember, there is only one right answer. No, I'm joking. That is not question number 1. I would have loved to have known what you said then, though.
There's only one answer, and it's Jaws.
No, jokes aside. Right, question number 1. What kind of animal blood is Carrie drenched in at a prom?
Pig's blood.
That is correct. Question number 2. What is the occupation of Hannibal Lecter, the serial killer who appears in films such as The Silence of the Lambs?
He is a doctor. He is. He's Dr. Hannibal Lecter. I've got that right.
I will give you that. I'm not going to make it specify. He's a psychiatrist. He's a doctor in psychiatry. So I will give you Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Question number 3. Which horror comedy takes place on Christmas Eve in a small town called Kingston Falls?
Gremlins.
That is correct. Well done. Question number 4. You are currently on 30 points. Question number 4. In Zombieland, what amusement park are they trying to get to?
Oh, shit. It's Dakota and... Oh, Jesus. Think.
You got this, man. You've got this.
Jeez. I want to say something false, but I don't think that's right. Think. Is it something to do with the sea? It's pools, water, pools, water. Pacific Playground.
It's Pacific Playland, but I will give you that. That's about as close as I expected you to get. Well done. 40 points. It's hard. I'm not making this easy for you early on, by the way.
No.
These are hard questions.
It's really hard.
These are hard questions. You have to know your horror to know the answer to these. Question number 5. What is the name of the first character to die in the original Scream movie?
Okay. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
I did make a tragic misstep then.
That's kind of what I was hoping you would do.
It's not Casey Becker, because Casey Becker's the second to die. What was he called? Steve.
That is correct. Well done. It is Steve. Yes. I hope that was going to get you then.
I very nearly stumbled into that with a big smile on my face going, I know I'm right.
I was like, this is an easy question, but if I read it quickly enough, he will think so confidently.
And I did. At least I stopped myself.
Well done. That's 50 points. Right. Question number 6. In the original Nightmare on Elm Street, what house number does Nancy live at?
Oh my God, it's 14 something. 1428.
That is correct. Well done. Very impressive. What street is that, by the way?
What street
the name
is
of the street?
Yeah, Elm Street.
Correct. Well done. Right,
Woodsboro Avenue.
Woodsboro Avenue in Haddonfield.
Yeah.
Question number 7. What is the name of the clown in Rob Zombie's House of 1,000 Corpses?
Captain Spaulding.
Well done. You must have known I was going to get a Rob Zombie question in there somewhere.
I actually like that movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
Really good movie.
Less we say about the sequels, probably the better.
Yeah.
Right. Question number 8, which is my favourite, which is horror, not horror.
Oh, this is good, because if I get this right, I've just taken over you.
Have you?
Because you're on 70 points. If I get this right, I'm going to go 10 points above you.
Excellent. Right, well, bring it on then. So this is question number 8, which is horror, not horror. They're eating her. They're going to eat me. Oh my God. Didn't need to do the accent, but I felt like it was a good imitation.
Everything in my gut is telling me to say horror, but there's a big part of me that's saying that you've made this sound like horror, but it's not actually horror.
Just remember, if you get this wrong, you lose all of your points.
Yes,
so you can walk away tying with me and Dave and sit firmly at the top of the leaderboard, or you can take a guess, which is a 50-50 question, which may be the reason why I put it here at this point of the quiz.
Yeah, not that you've done that deliberately. What was the quote again?
They're eating her. Then they're going to eat me. Oh my God.
It's not horror.
Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer. It's not horror.
Game over.
That is incorrect. It is
horror.
Oh,
no.
That is from Trolls 2. I thought you would have got that as well, to be honest with you.
I was so convinced that was in there as a red herring, and you picked a line that just sounded like horror.
Unfortunately, mate, that is you done on 0 points, putting you in bottom place in the leaderboard.
That's good. I'm strong enough to hold everybody else up.
Yeah, you did well. You caught us all up. You should have walked away though, but I knew your arrogance would get the better of you in that question.
Fuck's sake. Anyway.
Low facts. Low.
You're going to love the facts this week. You really, really are. So the roller coaster at the beginning is actually the Incredible Hulk ride at Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida, which I've been on that ride. Very, very cool ride. The track doesn't lift up how it shows in the movie, though. That's been added.
That would be slightly concerning if it did.
Very. The hospital was closed in 1931. As an electrician, there was something that really wound me up. This hospital is lit entirely with fluorescent tubes. So fluorescent tubes didn't come in until the very late 30s, early 40s, and weren't widespread until like 47, 48. This would not have been lit with fluorescent tubes, and it really bugged me a lot.
Well, given the entire plot of this film and all the loopholes, and you're talking about fluorescent light bulbs.
Yeah, it annoyed me. So the director of this got the idea for the movie in a former insane asylum when he was filming an episode of Tales of the Crypt. He noticed that the crew members were running out scared, and he decided that this would be perfect for this. He wanted to create sets where all the cast and the crew and everyone felt uncomfortable. In some of the basement sets, the crew are adamant to this day they were haunted as fuck.
Really?
Which is cool. I love that.
Do you believe?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
I'm a very visual person. So for me to believe in a ghost, I would need to see it, be able to put my hand.
You do realise they're invisible, though, don't you?
Yeah. See, I'd need to see it, be able to put my hand through it, and after I've done that, I need the ghost to go, by the way, I used to be alive and now I'm dead, therefore I am a ghost. And then I go, okay, they exist. I really need proof.
Right, okay.
Jeffrey Rush's character is named Price, which is reference to Vincent Price, who played the character in the original House on Haunted Hill in 1959. Another thing that bugs me, Evelyn stabs the shit out of the doctor. Really, really bad. Then throws the knife on the floor, and it's quite clearly a folding straight razor, which you can't stab people with, you slash them with it.
Could you not stab somebody with that?
No, because it would fold on your fingers.
Does it?
Yeah, so it folds open like a concertina, like this. So when you stab someone and you've got your hand round it, this bit would fold round and like chop off your fingers.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
I saw it, and then when she threw it on the floor and it was like folded in half, I was like, I call bullshit. That would have
again. That's what you're calling bullshit on.
Yeah. This is the bit you're going to love. So when they created the big nasty evil, the big CGI that looks terrible, the animators used images of nude women from porno sites, and they took hundreds of images, different sizes, and put them all together and grayscaled them to make the monster.
That's awesome.
So every single one of those images where you see a person going, "Ugh," that is a porn star in a full-on orgasm.
Wow.
I laughed so much. And how much fun did that? No wonder the CGI was shit, because they were watching porn the entire time.
That's it. I'm going to have to go back and watch that again now. Now I know that bit of information. I'm curious to know if it's noticeable.
It's 100%. So I've got a meme that's going to be released with this episode. While we're recording now, I'll show you the picture, and instantly you're going to see it.
Wow.
But yeah, you can see there's a couple of scenes. If you pause it, you can see everything. How this got away with an 18 rating is beyond me, because it is full on what you could see in that ghost.
Wow.
At the end, Eddie pulls the checks out, doesn't he? And then they have a sit and a chuckle.
Yeah.
Their laughter would end if they looked at the checks properly, because he flicks through the checks. They all have the same check number.
What does that mean?
It means that they're not. Basically, every check has a unique number when you cash it. They all had an identical number, so there's actually only one check there.
I'm not from an era that used checks. I have no idea.
I remember having checks.
I remember getting a check for like an 8th or 9th birthday from my grandma and be like, "What is this?"
Yeah, so when I first started working, I was paid by check.
Were you?
Yeah.
Didn't that shit take like 4 days to clear at the bank?
7, I think, when I first started working. So you'd do like a month's work, get paid at the end of the month, and then have to wait an extra week to get your money.
How frustrating is that?
Unless you took it to it was like a cash converter's place where they would give you cash for your check instantly, but they would take like 25% of your wages.
Oh, how the world's changed.
Oh, massively so. You quizzed me, so I'm going first. Fuck you, you can wait.
I thought he was going to quiz me again. I thought he was like, you quiz me, so I'm getting you.
No.
Fuck off, that's not fair.
No, I'm not that mean. This was a fun 90s horror. Great cast, unbelievable story, ridiculously overblown characters from everybody. The kills are great. I love all the kills. I don't mind the fact they're done off screen. It kind of works. It has some of the worst CGI that has ever graced our screen. The movie fact I just shared makes that a little bit more tolerable for me, because when that scene comes on, you do spend time going, "Oh, look, it's a lady in doggy style. Oh, look, it's a lady wiggling her boobs." It makes it a bit more bearable to watch. While I thoroughly enjoy this movie, and the cast is as good as it could get for any movie, to be fair, any movie now, if you offered them this cast, would rip your fucking arms off to have this cast.
Brilliant, yeah, of course it would.
But for any kind of critical standpoint, it's not a very good movie. Luckily for all of you, I am not a critic, and I score movies purely on how much I enjoy them. I agree with the listeners. It's 7 out of 10 for me.
Solid score. For me, this was the first time watch. I thought I'd seen this, but as I said, it's just got lost in the plethora of dog shit ghost films that came out around the same time as this. I thoroughly enjoyed my first watch of this. I thought it was really, really good. The cast is fantastic. The set design is outstanding. The way they've built each individual room, and considering this was all done on a sound stage as well, only amplifies how great the artists are that have produced something that looks so authentic. I'm not going to lie, this has some major, major plot issues that are very, very difficult to overlook. Depending on how you take this film, if you just want to sit down and watch it for what it is and purely don't look too deeply into it, you will enjoy the shit out of this film. But if you start to analyze this film, even just the slightest little bit, you are going to immediately start picking holes in every single scene that this film has. The CGI, as we've mentioned, is terrible. Probably some of the worst I've seen
ever.
And it's certainly not forgivable. But overall, I didn't mind it. And again, I mentioned this earlier. This is forgettable. I watched this film 2 days ago and I struggle to remember vital key points. And I don't know whether that's to do with the fact that none of it logically connects in the way it's supposed to or intended to, or whether the character writing isn't up to scratch. I don't know where that fault comes from. And it's not very often I can sit down and watch a film and then immediately be like, shit, I can't remember what happened in that. And I've watched it less than 48 hours ago. But it didn't really affect my overall enjoyment of it. If anything, it just made me curious enough to go back and watch it again to figure out what it is that I missed. And it's not perfect, and I'm not going to score this any higher than 3.5.
Yeah, so we're about the same on this.
Yeah, I loved it. I had a good time with it. But if I had to seriously pick it apart, it probably wouldn't come out well for this film.
Yeah.
But based on my enjoyment and my takeaway from it, I came away satisfied by my experience. I didn't walk away going, oh, what a piece of shit that was.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, it's a bit of a piece of shit.
Yeah, it
but
is.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that piece of shit, and I had a good hour and 30 minutes while I watched it.
Yeah, and one thing I forgot to mention in facts is this is done by the same production company who done 13 Ghosts after this. When they done this movie, they had scratch cards in the cinema. So when you bought a ticket for this, you got given a scratch card. And the total value of the prize of the scratch cards was $1 million.
Oh, that's awesome. Did anybody win?
Yeah, so someone won. Someone won that going to see this. And they planned on doing this similar kind of obscure marketing for 13 Ghosts, but they decided it was too expensive and they decided they didn't go with it, which is a shame.
Yeah, because it's £1 million.
Yeah, could you imagine going to watch a film, you get a scratch card, you sit down and scratch off at $1 million? I don't even think I'd stay and watch the film.
No. I watched something on YouTube. I think it might have been like an Instagram reel the other day, and this like Australian fella who won the lottery, and they filmed him going to the shop where he bought his ticket. No, he won like £500,000 on a scratch card, and then the news crew was like, "Oh, we want to film you, we want to interview you. Let's go to the place where you bought the scratch card from." And in the interview, he bought another scratch card, and he won it again. He won another £500,000 there and then on the interview.
Wow.
Legit story as well. This is like truth as well. I'll find out the guy for when this episode comes out so you can share his story. Insane. So he won £500,000 on a scratch card at a shop. News crews come in and was like, "Oh, we want to interview you. We'll take you back to the shop where you bought it, do the interview there. Oh, I know what will be fun. Here's £1. Go and buy yourself another scratch card so we can watch you do it on the interview." And he won again.
How pissed off would you be if you gave him that £1?
He was like crying. He was like, this is, and like he thought like the news crew was like on a wind up. It was legit. It won two times on a scratch card from the same shop.
Wow. And the most I've ever won is £1, and I bought another scratch card and I've won £1. Then I buy another scratch card and I lose.
But at which point you think you're on a roll, so you buy another one.
Yeah, exactly that. You can rent this in the UK, but it is excessively expensive, between $7.99 and $9.99, depending on where you get it.
I did not pay for that when it was released on DVD, and I'm certainly not going to pay for that now.
I was shocked at how much this is. If you're in the US, you can get this free on HBO Max, if you obviously got their subscription, or you can rent it everywhere else for about $4. So it's only us in the UK they like to rip off. If you want to support the show, it's really easy. Leave us a 5-star review. If you've got a bit of spare cash, go to yourunpodcast.com, have a look at the merchandise we've got there and buy something there. We're adding new designs all the time. So if you've been there and you've gone, all those T-shirt designs are shit, go back again next week. Go back again in 2 weeks. Eventually, you'll find something you like. And if there's something you want made, message me, because I've done that for other people. I've made a 13 Ghost style T-shirt. I've done a Werewolf in London. I've done Wednesday Addams. There's lots of T-shirts on there that do not infringe copyright. I've done that really well. I was really good at making sure I didn't. But they are all the classic movies you love. So go and have a look. And if there's something you want me to do, let me know and I'll make you a T-shirt. The Anagram game has come to an end. It's been 3 months.
Who is our winner?
We have 2 winners. So I went back through and I double-checked the scores. And everything was kind of level right up until we added in your movie quote. And when we added your movie quote, there was a couple of people who didn't answer the movie quote on a certain week and then missed a week. And it changed the landscape completely. So we've got 2 people who have nailed every single quote. They've nailed every single anagram and they have not missed a beat. So
did we get any drop-offs then from last week's anagram?
No, last week everyone got it.
So last week's anagram was Relisted Vine.
Yeah.
Which was, of course, Resident Evil.
Was. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 3rd place, 2nd place, who don't get anything. Really sorry. Thank you for playing. You've done really, really well. And you were right behind the leaders. And then I'm going to give the 2 winners. So in 3rd place, we have Spaceman and the Dole podcast. I don't know who was playing. if it was Katie or if it was Zaphod or if it was a combination of both. They done really, really well, but they missed a couple. In second place, we've got Joe Quinn Films, who is literally 1 point behind our leaders.
I thought you was going to say she took it because she has been leading the forefront for a long period of time.
She missed one movie quote, and I don't know if it's because she missed the post or she just didn't get it, but she missed one. In first place, we have a tie, which is Eric82, who I don't know if should get a T-shirt after the call in earlier, but he still will. And Skellington Fan. Both of you, congratulations, and message me. Send me a DM, send me your address, have a look at our website, yourunpodcast.com, pick any item you want from our website shop and send me your address and we'll send that out to you. Well done.
Congratulations, guys. Well done for playing.
Yeah. We need a new game for the next 3 months. And the same rules apply. But I'm going to make this really, really simple. So we're going to make it, there's only one question to answer, and you answer it every week. And again, whoever's got the most points at the end of the time frame gets anything they want off our website. And in a month's time, we're going to have a whole different host of stuff on there as well. The new game is Guess the Year. I'm going to give you a song from the year and a movie from that year. And Mark is going to give you a movie quote from that year. And all that I ask is that you don't cheat and you don't use Google.
Yes, play fair, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, obviously I can't check that you're not cheating, but please don't cheat. Please play fair.
What is the prize for this if they get this?
Again, this is any piece of merchandise they want from our website, and that will be in 3 months' time. There's going to be loads of new stuff on there as well.
Well, just think about it like this: if you own a T-shirt, if you win and you've cheated, that T-shirt will tell you you're a cheat every time you wear it. If you get a mug, every time you take a sip from that mug, it will tell you that a cheat every time you drink from it. If you get a towel and you wipe your ass with that towel, I hope you get a fucking rash for cheating. So play the game properly.
And I think that's very fair. So guess the year. So I'm going to go with the song first. So the song is by ABBA. And the song is called Don't Shut Me Down. Now, the movie is Dashcam. And I can see Mark's then just gone ABBA and Dashcam, and he's got really confused. Mark, now over to you for your movie quote.
So my movie quote is, the more things change, the more things stay the same.
I think I know that one.
Do you?
I think so. I'll tell you off the air.
Do you actually?
I actually do. I'll tell you when we're off the air. I actually know that one. Make sure you enter. I'm going to put on my story every day of the week. I will give you a spot to answer Guess the Year. And also on that story, I will give you clues every day. You'll get a different picture from a different movie from that year. So there's lots of opportunities to play here. Now, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've done Scream 6. We've done our 100th episode. How about you join us for a trip to the 100-acre wood? If that's not enough, us covering Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, how about we throw in an interview with star of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Natasha Rose Mills? That sounds bloody good to me. That was terrible. That was a terrible pun. I apologize.
I know, but I wasn't going to try and draw attention to it. I was going to swiftly carry on.
Yeah, no, I said it, and even my head went, that was bad. We need writers for the show. Where do we get writers? Thank you, everybody who supported us over the last 100 episodes. Whether this is your first time or whether you've been here since the very beginning when I reviewed Halloween 18. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of the additional listeners that have joined us since Mark joined the show. Because since Mark joined and we've become a double act, the numbers have kept going up and up and up and up. And I'm genuinely grateful to all of you. You're all awesome. Thank you so much for listening. And we will catch you next week for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
See you next week, guys.
Before I forget, you want to die tonight?
The cheaper, nastier, the better for me.
Would you have stayed after this?
Sorry, man, I was completely off guard there.
He's in his coffin. He's the undead.
This was the best bit of the film.
This is not the last time someone's going to steal your man.
Yeah, Mark's not a nice guy.
You didn't notice this scene. It looks like he's got an extra leg.
Yeah, I've got nothing. I've literally got nothing here. Surely that'd be even worse. The more listeners we have, the worse that's going to be.
Yeah, but I will just get a new phone.
Oh, I tell a lie, actually. Yeah, because we used to have teletext.
Art the Clown makes Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees look like pussies.
I can only assume that this was due to budgetary reasons and they couldn't afford enough extras.
Are you going to have Busta Rhymes in your list of characters?
Mate, I can't believe you don't know Idle Hands.
I'm going to ram my foot down his fucking throat. It was awesome.
It fucking wasn't awesome.